right, so we're going to do a little demo interview just for y'all if y'all need any help. This is Akshaya. Say hello, Akshaya. All right.
Hi, everyone.
She's helping me out with this one. So we are going to, when you get into the Zoom breakout meeting, you'll be in there with the other judges, and then I will put in the student as the schedule goes. So I think Akshaya is first in her room, so she'll come in. She'll introduce herself. Introduce yourself, Akshaya. Okay, well, hopefully she doesn't do that. So why don't you introduce yourself, Akshaya?
Hi, everyone. My name is Akshaya Kumepa. Thank you so much for being here. I'm looking forward to our interview.
Okay, so that should happen without the giggles, and then as soon as that happens, you can go ahead and start asking questions. You'll have 7 minutes to ask questions. I'm just going to do a couple questions just so you can see how Akshaya is one of our better interviewers. So I want you to see how she responds to the questions. What you're looking for is her voice. You're looking for her nonverbal language. You're looking to make sure that she actually listened to the question and she answered it. And then give us a good overall, like, how well did she come off in the interview, because you should get a good idea of who they are in this interview. Okay, so let's start with all right, tell us a little about yourself.
So I'm a 17-year-old, and recently nope. Can we start over?
All right, so okay.
My computer just gave me like a running out of battery little notification. I got distracted. Sorry. I think you're on YouTube.
Yeah, like it was such a good recording so far. You know what? That's okay. We're just going to keep going, and then I'll edit.
Nice.
Or I won't. I don't know. All right. So, Akshaya, why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
So I'm a 17-year-old high school student, and recently I've been interested in becoming a public health specialist. It's one of my career choices because it's at the intersection of basically all of my interests that I've accumulated through high school. It's related to public policy, and I've had an interest in legislature for as long as I can remember because I've taken so many history courses. And being able to have an input on how medical legislation is run for different marginalized communities in my neighborhood and also on an international level is, I think, the best way that I can contribute to society.
All right, thank you. So when you're a senior, and so when you leave AgTech, what's some advice you would pass on to those that are coming up behind you?
In terms of preparation for AgTech, I would tell our future incoming students to think of daily homework and reading not as assignments you have to do, but as training, as preparation for your competitions. Because AgTech is different from your regular classes in that it's not only for a grade that you get for your GPA for a graduation credit, but it's a competition. It's a sport that you do. You have to challenge yourself not only with public speaking skills, but also essay writing and memorization and understanding a variety of different content because you're responsible for basically every subject there is out there to learn. And you have to be reliable for your teammates as well. And if you think of your daily reading as a separate task to do just to check off, you're not going to be able to have that motivation to do well in competition. So you have to have that mindset that you're going in preparing to do well at competition.
Excellent, thank you. You seem like a fairly driven young person. Where do you find your inspiration, and what inspires you to be so driven?
Definitely my teammates, because prior to high school and my middle school experience, I was competing primarily in individual sports. I was a competitive swimmer for 7 years, and I did UIL as a academic activity. And in both of those events, I was competing individually. I only had to worry about myself. So I relied on myself for a lot of intrinsic motivation. But once I was a high school student, I chose to do ACTEC because I didn't have UIL anymore, so I wanted a outlet for my academic competitions. But ACTEC is a team sport. You have to rely on each other because at the end of the day, regardless of how many individual medals you get, your status is as a team. You have to like, depend on your team members, rely on them to study for their own competitions and events, as well as rely on yourself. So, because of that, there's this really big sense of camaraderie that is the core of everything we do in ACTEC. We rely on yourself. We communicate with each other during daily study sessions. We exchange study materials. We give each other tips on how to be a good public speaker. So that exchange of skill sets is really what keeps us motivated to do well in competition.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. So let's assume that the 7 minutes is over now. Um, and Akshay hadn't messed up so many times. And then she'll say, thank you. Say thank
Thank
you.
you, judges. It was very
Thanks.
nice meeting you. I had wonderful conversation.
That's awesome. And then she's just going to log out. She's going to leave and go back into the main meeting. And you're going to stay in the breakout room waiting for the next contestant. All right. Thank you again, Akshay. And good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.